Can you believe it? It's been a year already. That's right. A year. 2020 has been crazy. Last March, a lot of us in the real estate industry really were worried. We thought the real estate market would just be destroyed under the pressure of this huge, once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, COVID-19. But instead, 2020 was one of the best years in real estate ever. As I've said before, home sales were up, interest rates were down. It was a busy, busy time in real estate. Way busier and way better than the year before of 2019. 2020 was so strong that a lot of people are now afraid it's just like the last housing boom. And because of that, many think we are headed for another crash. Okay, I know. We talked about this in the last video, but I just discussed the same topic today with a prospect who says he's waiting for the repo market to come back so he can buy. So, Robert, this is for you. We already talked about this, but I'm going to share some graphs now to kind of support what we discussed. All right? And for the rest of you, you can listen in on our conversation. First of all, this is not the same as the market crash years. This is not the same as 2008. This is completely different, and here are a few reasons why. Number one, tighter mortgage loan standards. Let me tell you something. Back then, it was hard not to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. If you fogged the mirror, you could get a mortgage. In fact, it was like, you're qualified, you get a mortgage, and you get a mortgage, and you get a mortgage, and everybody gets a mortgage. Woo! It's not that way now. You actually have to qualify for the mortgage. In fact, back then, you could be a part-time janitor at the grade school down the street and say you made $1 million, and they'd say, great, here's your loan. It's not that way anymore. You actually have to qualify for a loan. And that means you have to have the right credit. You have to have the right income. You have to have money in the bank. You can't just say, I make $2 gazillion and be believed, because it's much tighter loan standards than it was back then. The Urban Institute released their latest Housing Credit Availability Index, the H.E.L.P. It's a report that tracks loans that are likely to go into foreclosure. The report shows, as you can see in the graph, the risk of foreclosure is low, very low. This is nothing like the last time. Hold on. My son, Ryan, now has 106 subscribers on YouTube. 106 subscribers on YouTube. Come on, people. Subscribe to my channel. Don't let my son win. Okay, where was I? Oh, 2. We don't have way too many homes for sale in the market. We have way too few homes on the market. Okay, so we like to see a 6-month supply in a normal real estate market. That's a healthy real estate market, a 6-month supply, meaning if no other houses came on the market, it would take 6 months for all of those to sell. Anything less than we see prices continuing to rise. During the mortgage crisis back in 2007, wow, we saw way too many homes for sale. And that caused prices to fall, and as you know, they fell big. Today, as I said before, we have this many buyers, this many homes for sale. There's a huge shortage, and that is why this is nothing like it was before. It's not like the last time. Number 3, houses aren't too expensive to buy. I know, you're looking at the prices, you're like, oh, this is crazy. We'll never buy a house. But when you look at affordability, we look at 3 different things. We look at the price of the home, we look at the buyer's income, and we also look at the mortgage interest rate, all right? So in 2006, prices were high, income was low, and interest rates were right around 6.5%, 6%. Today, prices are high, but income levels have risen, and our interest rate is around 3%. That's a big difference. So as you see in the chart, the average homeowner is paying less of their monthly income toward their mortgage payment than they did back in 2006. In fact, chief economist for First American Mark Fleming stated, quote, lower mortgage interest rates and rising incomes correspond with higher house prices. You can read, can't you? Apparently I can't. Let's try that again. Lower mortgage interest rates and rising incomes correspond with higher house prices as home buyers can afford to borrow and buy more. If housing is appropriately valued, house buying power should equal or outpace the median sale price of a home. Looking back at the bubble years, house prices exceeded house buying power in 2006. But today, house buying power is nearly twice as high as the median sale price nationally. Wow. This is nothing like the last time. 4. People are equity rich. They're not tapped out like they were last time. In fact, before the housing bubble, before the crash, homeowners were basically using their homes as ATMs. You know, when their equity went up, they'd cash out and buy stuff. They'd buy cars and boats and Sea-Doos and motorhomes, or they would remodel their kitchen. During the repo years, I actually had to get my son Ryan licensed as a realtor, and he and I spent a lot of time going out and contacting, I know, this sounds sad, but we contacted a lot of the homeowners that were losing their house to foreclosure. We would get notified by the bank, the house is now owned by the bank, go out and knock on the door and do an occupancy check. So Ryan and I went all over Southern California, driving 100 to 200 miles a day from one house to the next because so many people had cashed out their equity and now they couldn't afford their home. And so they were losing it to foreclosure. And as the lending institutions started tightening up the loans, prices started dropping and then they started crashing big time. And there were so many houses out there on the market. So Ryan and I would walk up on a house and it was very, very normal to walk up and say, wow, there's 2 matching Mercedes, there's a motorhome, there's some Sea-Doos, and there's a brand new boat in the house or in the driveway. So I kind of understand what happened. They cashed out their equity, made all these purchases, and now they can't afford their house payment. This is nothing like that. Those homeowners who can't make their payments, those homeowners who will eventually face foreclosure, I'm talking to you right now, you would be foolish to walk away from your house. You should sell your house and cash out and walk away with that money. Over 50% of homes in the country have more than 50% equity. That's huge. And those homeowners, they're not cashing out like they did back in 2006. Today, the average home has, on average, $190,000 equity. That's huge money that could be in your pocket if you sold. This is nothing like the last time. So bottom line, if you're thinking about buying a house, interest rates are low, it's a great time. If you're thinking about selling a house, home prices are high, it's a great time. If you are in default because of the shutdowns, if you are facing foreclosure, get with me for help. Don't lose your money. Don't lose your equity. If you have questions, let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, like I said, my son's he's got 106 subscribers. He is going to beat me. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like. Hit the bell. If you're watching this on Facebook, follow my page. Like this post. If you're watching this on Instagram and IGTV, give me a heart. And no matter where you're watching it, share it with somebody who might benefit from knowing this information. As always, I'm Ray Wright, your SoCal Realtor, and I'm looking out for you.